اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. All praises are Allah's, Lord of the worlds, and may His peace and blessings be upon our Master, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, and his pure immaculate Ahlul Bayt. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So last night we touched upon one or two aspects of death. And inshallah today we want to enter the realm of Barzakh. Although I'm not sure of a precise translation of the term Barzakh, but maybe Hades with a capital H is suitable. But I will use Barzakh as the term. The essence of what we are, the I, the first person singular, is the immaterial rational spirit. It's immaterial. It has no time, no place. You can't point to it, you can't see it. But that's the essence of what we are. This immaterial rational spirit, by necessity, always needs a body. It always is in need of a body. In this world, it's in association with the physical body. In Barzakh, it's where there's no physical body, it's an association with the Mithali soul. The Mithali soul. So in Barzakh, it's an association with the Mithali soul. Now I have to describe this Mithali soul because this is the subject matter in Barzakh. At birth onwards, or to be more precise, from ensoulment onwards, where the body is ensouled with a soul, which is around 4 months usually. From then on, everyone, in addition to the physical body, they have a Mithali soul. So a 5-year-old has a Mithali soul that is 5 years of age. A 10-year-old has a Mithali soul. A 40-year-old has a Mithali soul that is 40 years of age. The 40-year-old has a physical body and also has a Mithali soul. The Mithali soul is immaterial. However, in contrast to the immaterial rational spirit, this has materialistic properties. The Mithali soul has a shape, has size, has color, but it's not material. It's immaterial. A 5-year-old child has a 5-year-old Mithali soul. This Mithali soul, before puberty, is synonymous to Nafsul Ammara, the soul that invites to evil. But this Nafsul Ammara is harmless in children before puberty. It usually doesn't pose any threat or risk to the child. But after puberty, this Nafsul Ammara, or this Mithali soul, has to be tamed, has to be domesticated. And that's by means of the Sharia. On death, or even before death, right now, we all have the Mithali soul accompanying the physical body. But on death, where the physical body is now buried, then it's the mithali soul that enters the realm of barzakh. It's in barzakh now, the mithali soul. But we don't see it due to our absorption in the worldly life. Some people say they do see it. It's possible. So on death, it's now the mithali soul which is wayfaring, that is in barzakh. Graves are of two types. We have the physical grave where the corpse is buried. But there's a spiritual grave too. In Islam, the Sharia allocates a lot of and assigns a lot of respect to the corpse. The mithali soul is in barzakh now, has nothing to do with the corpse. We have nothing to do with the corpse whatsoever. However, the Sharia does bestow and grant a lot of respect to the corpse. And there's many rituals one has to execute in relation to the physical corpse. However, the eye has nothing to do with the physical corpse anymore. The mithali soul is in barzakh. This barzakh is synonymous to the spiritual grave, according to the language of our traditions. Someone asked Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, Mal barzakhu? What is this barzakh? The Holy Imam replied, Al-qabru. It's the grave. However, منذ حين موته إلى يوم القيامة. It's the grave from death to the day of resurrection. This is barzakh. But this grave isn't referring to the physical grave. It's another realm, a realm where your mithali soul is now present within. If it makes things easier, just to conceive of the mithali soul, when you dream, in your dreams, it's the mithali soul that is seeing, that is doing things, that is receiving things, that is being injured, that is eating, that is drinking. It's the mithali soul in your dreams. It has shape, it has color, it has size, but there's no matter. Barzakh, if you like, it's like a minor resurrection day. The tradition that says, إِذَا مَاتَ الْإِنسَانُ, when man dies, فَهُوَ فِي قِيَامَتِهِ. Resurrection has started. When one dies, resurrection has started. In the traditions, qiyamah has been alluded to as being minor and major. The minor qiyamah is barzakh. The major qiyamah is the promised day of resurrection. But they're both resurrections. What is being resurrected though in barzakh? What is it that is being resurrected? The answer is actions and beliefs. Our actions that we do from moment to moment during our daily lives and our beliefs that we acquire, once these actions or beliefs become ingrained within the soul, once they become a malakeh, once they become second nature, ingrained disposition within us, on death, these malakat, these ingrained dispositions in relation to actions and beliefs will be resurrected. Even now, minute to minute, the Mithali soul is in the process of being resurrected, but we don't see it. From Barzakh onwards we see it. But even now, we're creating our Barzakh by means of our actions and beliefs. However, in Barzakh, like in Qiyamah, everyone will see the fruits of their actions and beliefs. Actions and beliefs will be manifested in Barzakh. They'll be resurrected. The Holy Prophet of Islam said, Al-Qabro, the grave, Imma hufratun min hufrin neiran, it's either a well amongst the many wells of fire, أو روضة من رياض الجنة, or it's a garden amongst the many gardens of heaven. Naturally, this grave isn't referring to the physical grave. There's nothing happening in the physical grave, nothing. There's only a corpse which slowly rots away. This is the spiritual grave. You make your spiritual grave in this world. Action to action. You're building your barzakh. On physical death, your actions and beliefs will be resurrected. But in this world, you're shaping your barzakh. You're building your barzakh. In the same way that you're building your qiyamah, the same principle holds. Barzakh and qiyamah are only a moment, a single moment away from you. They're very close to you. You're living barzakh and qiyamah every day, every minute of the day. So in other words, we're building our grave from moment to moment, the spiritual grave though. So this is what we mean by thawab and iqab. This is what we mean by reward and punishment. When you see the Sharia saying it's mustahab to do X action, rewards of mustahab actions, it's not a case of you just collecting things in a bag and then on death you take the bag and say, these are all my rewards. No. Rewards associated with mustahab actions means when you do something mustahab, you're exerting a positive effect on the mithali soul. And that which will be resurrected is something positive. And we'll come to the forms of what will be resurrected. When something is makruh, you're exerting a negative effect. When the Sharia says it's makruh, it's undesirable to eat fast, if you eat fast, you're exerting a negative effect on the mithali soul. When it says eat in small morsels, if you eat large morsels, it will have a negative effect on the mithali soul. Thawab and iqab is a function of the mithali soul. From moment to moment, you're doing your wajibat, mustahabbat. You're shaping this mithali soul. You're building your grave, the spiritual grave. So our actions and beliefs will be resurrected. And this phenomenon is called in Arabic tajassumul a'mal. to the embodiment of actions. This is what happens in Barzakh. Your actions are embodied now. Your beliefs will be embodied. And that's what we mean when we say you are your actions. You are your actions. Because the reality of what you are in the spiritual grave is a result of your actions. If you don't be careful, you'll be a pig. You'll be a donkey. But you can be very illuminous too. You are your actions. You build the Mithali soul. Now, what does the pressure of the grave mean? We've all heard of traditions of this phenomenon called, in Farsi we say, fishar qabr. In Arabic, dhammatul qabr. Pressure of the grave. What does this mean? Does it mean pressure on the physical corpse? No. Nothing happens to the physical corpse. The physical corpse is safe, buried, enshrouded, and nothing happens to it. The pressure of the grave is in relation to us now. And we are what? We're the Mithali soul now in Barzakh. Barzakh being the spiritual grave. This punishment of the grave, this drowning of the grave, that is related in the traditions, it's referring to tajassumul a'mal, embodied actions and beliefs. Your actions may be embodied as fire, and we'll come to some verses on that in a minute. Your actions may be embodied as snakes, scorpions, predators. They're all your own creation. You created them. You built them. They're you. Don't blame Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah has nothing to do with you in Barzakh. There's no external body who will punish you. No one will punish you in Barzakh. This idea of a red monster with horns beating you and whipping, no, this is all wrong. Punishment in Barzakh and in Qiyamah is embodiment of one's actions. And if we have time, we'll speak about the nature of divine punishment, maybe the last day, or if we have time, inshallah. So in Barzakh, you become resurrected. You're resurrected now, from minute to minute. You may be full of fire right now, and we'll come to the verses which indicate this. But you don't feel the fire now, you can't see the fire. Now it's these manifestations, it's these resurrections, it's these embodiments that leads to your horror, to your fear, to your pain in Barzakh. And that's the pressure of the grave. And don't think that just because there's no matter, it won't hurt. In your dreams, when we said that in our dreams we are the Mithali soul there, if a scorpion approaches you in your dream and stings you, you wake up. But in Barzakh there's no waking up anymore. It'll hurt. Don't think that just because it's another realm there's no pain. But it's all your own creation. Now let's look at this very important and delicate tradition by Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, where this is realized. وَإِذَا كَانَ الرَّجُلُ كَافِرًا. Speaking on souls just passed away, it's going to touch upon the realities of Barzakh now. And if a man was a kafir, دَخَلَ عَلَيْهِ, the two entities referring to two angels will encounter the kafir on physical death. وَأُقِيمَ الشَّيْطَانُ بَيْنَ يَدَيْ أَيْنَاهُ مِنْ نُحَاسٍ. And a Satan will be established before the kafir, the eyes of the Satan being made of copper. فَيَقُولَانِ لَهُ. The two angels will say to the kafir, مَنْ رَبُّكَ مَا دِينُكَ. Who is your Lord? What is your religion? Now I'll be speaking about the nature of this questioning in a minute. وَمَا تَقُولُ فِي هَذَا الرَّجُلِ الَّذِي خَرَجَ مِنْ بَيْنِ ظَهْرَانِكُمْ. And what you have to say concerning how this man, referring to the Satan, which is before him, what you have to say concerning this man who is situated before you. That Satan being the resurrection of that kafir's actions. فَيَقُول. The kafir then says, لَا أَدْرِي. I don't know. فَيَتَخَلَّيَانِ بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَ الشَّيْطَانِ. Then the angels will empty the gap between the man, the kafir, and the Satan. They will leave, shortening the gap between the two. Now the kafir is now in proximity with the shaitan. وَيُسَلَّتُ عَلَيْهِ فِي قَبْرِهِ تِسْعَةٌ وَتِسْعُونَ تَنِينًا. And then, in the kafir's grave, the grave being barzakh here, it can't be the physical grave, having authority over the kafir, there will be 99 predators governing the kafir. 99 predators. لو أن واحدا منها نفخ على الأرض ما أنبتت شجرا أبدا. That if one of these predators were to breathe on earth, no tree would ever grow on earth. Now what are these 99 predators? This is one explanation, one interpretation. I'm not saying this is the only interpretation, but one interpretation which Ayatollah Hassanzadeh Amali has said is this. We have 99 attributes of Allah in the Holy Quran. Our aim in spiritual wayfaring is to be manifestations of Allah's attributes. That's our aim in Irfan. If Allah is Ghafoor, all forgiving, we want to be a manifestation of this attribute. We have to be Ghafoor. We have to be all forgiving. If Allah is merciful, we have to be merciful. If Allah is compassionate, we have to be compassionate. And it's difficult to incorporate Allah's attributes within our soul. For example, someone came to the Holy Prophet of Islam and complained about his wife. And the man said, my wife commits errors and sins and it's bothering me. The Holy Prophet said, forgive her. Then the man said, no, but it's not only once. She did it 3 or 4 times a day. And then the Holy Prophet said, even if she continues up to 70 times a day, you forgive her. These are not just stories just to read. This is what Islam is all about. It's these noble ethical traits. You can assess yourselves on how much forgiveness you have in relation to your wife. Do you explode after the first error, or the second, or are you forgiving? Can you go the whole way? If one becomes a manifestation of Allah's attributes, one will be illuminated, one will be resurrected as light in Barzakh. But if you don't succeed and acquire the vicious attributes, i.e. the reverse of those attributes of Allah, not being forgiving and the reverse of being forgiving, those attributes, once they become ingrained, they will be embodied as predators. And in this case, the man had 99 predators with him in Barzakh, embodied actions. This is the pressure of the grave. This is what is meant. Now, what does the questioning of the angels mean? This man rabbuk, ma dinuk. Are there angels there who speak? No, angels don't speak. Angels are immaterial beings. They can manifest with color, shape, size. Like the story of Lady Maryam alayhi salam, when the angel approached her, that was a worldly manifestation of an angel. But the essence of angels, they're immaterial beings. They don't speak. There's no mouth. Now what is this man rabbuk ma dinuk then? This is just one perspective. I'm not saying that this is the right answer. I'm just giving different perspectives. There are people, respectable scholars, I have many ustads too, who believe that there will be two angels and they will speak and say, Man rabbuk ma dinuk. But Ayatollah Hassan Zadeh has another perspective on this. And he gives the names of scholars also who has this from, including the scholars of old. That which is agreed upon by everyone is that during the embodiment of actions, tajassumul a'mal, there is angelic involvement. The process of tajassumul a'mal, embodiment of actions, is executed by means of the angels. No one denies the involvement of the angels. Whoever denies the existence of angels, that's on a par with kufr. It's the angels which do tajassum al-a'mal. It's the angels which bring revelation. No one's denying that. But what the munkar and nakir, the names of the angels, nakir and munkar, what are these referring to? Exactly, there's some difference of opinion. Allama Ayatollah Hassan Zadeh Omri says this, and he attributes it to two very grand scholars in Islam. One is Sheikh Mufid, and he says, he quotes Sheikh Mufid as saying, this nakir or munkar, they're a manifestation of your bad actions being resurrected. Bashir and Mubashir, the good angels who you'll face, they're a manifestation of your good actions. In either case, angels are executing the embodiment of actions. Okay? But Nakir and Munkar is the embodiment of your evil. Bashir and Mubashir is the embodiment of your good actions, of those positive malakat. It's this reality. Not that there are two separate questioners. Man rabbuk ma dinuk is asked, every one of us is asked these two questions and others, second to second, moment to moment in this world by the angels. Every action we do is assessed in accordance with Man Rabbuk Ma Dinuk. And that collective sum of our actions will be then resurrected and embodied. If it's positive, they call it Bashir and Mubashir. If it's negative, it's Nakir and Munkar. Then Ayatollah Hasanzadeh quotes from Faid Kashani, another very important scholar, about 400 years ago, 500 years, 400 years ago. And he quotes Faid Kashani as follows, that Faid Kashani writes, Anna al-munkara ibaraton, this munkar, nakir and munkar, is defined as ibaraton an jumlatil a'mal al-munkara, the collective sum of vicious actions. Munkar, in this nakir and munkar, is defined as the collective sum of vicious actions. Allati, those vicious actions that allati fa'alaha al-insan fi dunya, those actions with those vicious actions that one executed in this world. فَتَمَثَّلَتْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ بِصُورَةٍ مُنَاسِبَةٍ لَهَا, and it will be manifested, it will be resurrected, it will be embodied in the hereafter, in a shape, in a form that is in harmony with it. If you did bad actions, bad images will be resurrected. If you did good actions, positive will come out of it, positive manifestations. Okay. Now, the next theme is this. What is the method? We're in Barzakh still, the spiritual grave. What is the Mithali soul's relationship with this world after death? Okay? How does the Mithali soul relate to this physical world? The Mithali soul is in Barzakh. How does it relate to this world? Is it in connection? Is it in association? Does it have any contact with this world? And the answer is, it depends on the level of ma'rafah, the level of gnosis with a G, gnosis, that it acquired in this world. The level of ma'rafah one acquired in this world will determine the Mithali soul's relationship with this world in Barzakh. I'm going to go through 3 traditions, short ones, which demonstrate this. قال سألته عن الميت يزور أهله. One of the companions of the Holy Imam asked the Imam in relation to the dead. Do they visit their family members? Do the dead visit their living family members? Well, by the dead, it means the Mithali soul of the deceased person. قال نعم. The Imam said yes. فقلت, I said, the companion, في كم يزور? How frequently does it visit the family members? فقال, the Imam said, في الجمعة, on Fridays. وفي الشهر, monthly. وفي السنة, yearly, once a year. على قدر منزلته, depending on its status. The higher the status, the more frequent. The lower the status, the Mithali soul may only visit one's dear ones once a year. Depends on its manzila, its status. Imam Qadim alayhi salam was asked the same question But this time the word mu'min was used, not mayyit. Will the mu'min who has passed away visit his or her family members? Imam Qadim alayhi salam replied, ala qadri fada'ilihim, in accordance with his acquired virtues that he acquired in this world. Minhum man yazuru fi kulli yawmin. Amongst them, okay, those who acquired virtues, amongst the mu'mins, there are those who visit their loved ones every day. They acquired a high status in this world. They have that freedom. وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَزُورُ فِي كُلِّ يَوْمَيْنِ. There are those who visit their loved ones every alternate day, once every 2 days. وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَزُورُ فِي كُلِّ ثَلَاثَةَ أَيَّامٍ. And amongst them are people, the deceased mu'mins with their mithali souls, who visit their family once every 3 days. أَدْنَاهُمْ مَنْزِلَةً يَزُورُ فِي كُلِّ جُمُعَةٍ. The minimum, though, in relation to mu'mins, is that they visit their loved ones every Friday, once a week. Tomorrow we'll speak about how we can benefit the deceased, how we can benefit the mithali soul in depth. Now a similar question was posed to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam in relation to mu'mins. The Imam said, وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَزُورُ كُلَّ جُمُعَةٍ وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَزُورُ عَلَى قَدْرِ عَمَلِهِ. Amongst them there are those who visit every Friday, and amongst them there are those who visit in accordance with their actions. Look, there were 3 traditions. One said, عَلَى قَدْرِ مَنْزِلَتِهِ, accordance with their status, in accordance with their status. One said, عَلَى قَدْرِ فَضَائِلِهِمْ, in accordance with their acquired virtues. عَلَى قَدْرِ عَمَلِهِ, in accordance with their actions. The higher your actions, the higher your virtue, the freer the mithali soul will be. And the more contact it will have here in this world. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, إِنَّ الْمُؤْمِنَ لَيَزُورُ أَهْلَهُ فَيَرَى مَا يُحِبُّ. The mu'min will visit his or her loved ones and will see that which he likes to see. When his family members and relatives are having a good time with one another, there's no arguing, they're enjoying it, they're practicing their faith, they'll be allowed to see the good things. وَيُسْتَرْ أَنْهُ مَا يَكْرَهُ. They'll be concealed in seeing the negative, undesirable things. They'll be concealed in seeing their loved ones arguing, doing this and doing that. The reverse applies to the kafir. Okay, so that was another point. Now, Ibn Sina was asked in a letter to describe the states of the I, the immaterial rational spirit, when the spirit departs the physical body, i.e. enters barzakh. Now, it's a long letter, but I've only translated parts of it. I'm not going to read all of it for you. The letter was in Farsi, I've just translated parts of it for you. But it's important to understand an important phenomenon. Ibn Sina replies, one will wake up and feel on death, okay? One will wake up and feel joy or pain with respect to those images which one had assembled and accumulated in this external world by means of one's actions. By means of those manifestations that had always accompanied one and were incorporated within one's soul. The state of man in barzakh is like the conceived zygote or embryo in the womb. Or it can be likened to the seed that is planted in the soil. The embryo in the womb of the mother will grow in accordance with its genetic potential. If the genetic potential is bad, it will grow in a bad environment in the womb. It may suffer a defect. It may suffer deformity. The seed in soil, if it doesn't receive light and other parameters, will grow with deformity. The state of man in Barzakh is similar to the seed and the embryo. Here it depends on one's actions in this world, how the state of man will be in Barzakh. It's those actions will be resurrected. Then he says, we reap what we sow in this world. Our actions will be resurrected in the hereafter. If you pollute the soul in this world, the effect is a polluted resurrection. In chapter 11, verses 21 and 22, concerning the fabricators of the truth, the Quran states, أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ. The fabricators of the truth, they're the ones who have ruined their souls in this world. لَا جَرَمْ أَنَّهُمْ فِي الْآخِرَةِ هُمُ الْأَخْسَرُونَ. Without doubt, in the hereafter, they're the biggest losers. They ruined their souls in this world. That ruined soul in this world, by means of those vicious actions, will be resurrected in Akhirah, in the hereafter. And they will lose out. La jaram, without doubt. This is a takwini procedure. This is a providential and natural cause and effect procedure. La jaram, without doubt. Annahum, they will be the biggest losers in the hereafter. The hereafter being the results of one's vicious actions here. They fabricated the truth that will be embodied in the worst possible way. However, we don't see these images on sinning. But we do see it on death when entering Barzakh. An-nasu niyamun. Mankind, people are asleep. إِذَا مَاتُوا انْتَهَبُوا. When they die, they become awakened. They face the realities now. They see the truths. They see the truth of oneself. Ibn Sina continues, this phenomenon is called tajassumul a'mal, embodiment of actions, which is evidently proved by the aql. Concerning Quranic verses that demonstrate it, then he gives 3 verses. The first verse, chapter 29, verse 54, Inna jahannama la muhitatun bil kafirin yawma yaghshahumul adhab. Indeed, hell will besiege the faithless on the day when punishment envelops them, surrounds them, because their vicious actions will be resurrected, will be embodied. That's the punishment in the hereafter. وَيَقُولُ ذُوقُوا مَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. And Allah will say, taste what you used to do. All those vicious actions which will now be resurrected and embodied, taste it now. Suffer. Chapter 4, verse 10. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ أَمْوَالَ الْيَتَامَى ظُلْمًا. Verily those who consume orphans' property wrongfully. Those who consume the property of orphans wrongfully. This is another example of a sin. إِنَّمَا يَأْكُلُونَ فِي بُطُونِهِمْ نَارًا. If you consume someone's wealth, the orphan's wealth, wrongfully, Allah is saying what you've done is you're ingesting fire. You don't see that in this world. That fire will be embodied in Barzakh. This is explicit now in the Quran. This sin is fire. the manifestation of consuming orphans' property wrongfully. Chapter 3, verse 30, I'll just read the English. The day when every soul will find present whatever good it has done, and as to whatever evil it has done in this world, it will wish there was a distance between that evil and itself. Because that evil may be a predator. Depends on your sin, how that evil will be manifested. And then you'll just wish that there will be a distance between you and it. But there can't be a distance because you are it. It's you. Then Ibn Sina continues, and traditions which convey this meaning of tajassum al-a'mal is the following. The Holy Prophet said, إِنَّمَا هِيَ أَعْمَالُكُمْ تُرَدُّ إِلَيْكُمْ. Someone has come to the Holy Prophet, it's a lengthy tradition, but someone has came to the Holy Prophet and said, Ya Rasulullah, where are we all going? He wanted to receive a definition of the hereafter. Where are we all going? What's that destination of the hereafter? What is it all about? And the Holy Prophet said, verily, it's your actions that you are going towards. We're all going towards our actions. What does that mean? We're going to encounter the resurrection and embodiment of those actions that we did in this world. That's where we're all going. That's barzakh. That's qiyamah. And then finally, Ibn Sina says, both the aql, rationality, and the naql, which means the transmitted texts, have irrefutably proved tajassum al-a'mal. And then he says, hence heaven and hell are esoteric dimensions of oneself. Although that needs another session, that needs some explaining. And then he ends with a poem. Okay, Ibn Sina's letter ends there. So in short, man builds oneself via one's thoughts, one's statements, one's actions. One's actions and perceptions constitute one's soul, is one's soul. Your perceptions, your actions is your soul. It's making it. We are our perceptions. We are our actions. Actions constitute what we are per se. We are our actions. Do we have support? Yes. Ayatollah Hassan Zadeh proves this, that we are our actions by one verse in the Holy Quran, and you can't get more explicit than this. It's in chapter 11, verse 46. قَالَ يَا نُوحُ, O Noah, إِنَّهُ لَيْسَ مِنْ أَهْلِكَ. Verily, he, referring to Noah's son, isn't part of your family. Innahu, rather he, your son, is amalun ghayru salih. He is non-righteous action. He is action. Some people say, well, what it means, what the Quran means is the owner of non-righteous actions, the executor. Ayatollah Hassan Zadeh says this is just pure imagination. Arabic grammar does not determine our ma'rifah. Ma'rifah determines our Arabic grammar. Those who are drowned in Arabic, always taking the literal sense of things, they fall into these difficulties and they try to justify it by means of what? Principles of Arabic grammar. The Quran is saying this, إِنَّهُ amalun. It could have said, إِنَّهُ ذُو amal. No, it didn't say ذُو amal, the owner of actions. إِنَّهُ amalun. We are our actions. So we are like a book of actions, and our malakat, those ingrained dispositions, those things that became incorporated in our soul, that will be manifested. There are some things we do, maybe vicious or virtuous, that are only states, they come and go, they're not ingrained. They won't be manifested in Barzakh. Only the ingrained dispositions will be manifested. Now, in the spiritual grave, Barzakh, pain and torment are realized by means of sins and vicious dispositions. So lying, backbiting, hurting your mother, if these become malakeh, if these become second nature to you, this will lead to your adhab. Now I want to give the story, I'll just read from it, the story of one of the companions of the Holy Prophet, Sa'ad ibn Ma'adh. He was a very major companion of the Holy Prophet. He was from Medina. He participated in many wars, Badr, Uhud, Khandaq, and many others. He eventually became martyred as a result of his injury in one of these wars. When he was alive, the Prophet would visit him. The Holy Prophet would nurse him. The Holy Prophet would pray for him by saying, "Oh Allah, he has fought in your name. He has confirmed your Prophet. Accept his spirit with pleasure." The morning Sa'ad had passed away, Archangel Gabriel descended upon the Holy Prophet and asked, "O Messenger of Allah, who has died from your ummah?" Because the angels are in the heavens and the earth are all informing one another of such a spirit. They're all saying, we have to go to this funeral procession of this spirit who has just passed away. The Holy Prophet said, "I don't know." He went to the Holy Mosque and inquired. They announced that Sa'ad ibn Ma'adh has passed away. The Holy Messenger immediately made his way with his companions to Sa'ad's residence, where they were ghuslating Sa'ad's corpse. The Prophet of Islam had been very active during the funeral procession of Sa'ad. He was involved in the ghusl, he was involved in carrying the coffin towards the grave, he even was involved in putting the corpse in the grave. The Holy Prophet was very active here. The Holy Prophet said, "Verily there are 70,000 angels participating in this ceremony." And he was buried in Baghi, in Medina. After being buried, Sa'ad's mother came beside the grave and cried out, "O Sa'ad, O son, verily you will be satiated with heaven, because you were a very good son. You were a good companion to the Holy Prophet. I'm very pleased with you. Verily you'll be in the heaven of Barzakh. You will be satiated with heaven." But then the Holy Prophet witnessed Sa'ad's Barzakhi Mithali soul. And he witnessed it with some surprise. He saw that Sa'ad was experiencing pressure of the grave, in the spiritual grave. When Sa'ad's mother had said what she said, the Holy Prophet addressed her by saying, "Sa'ad is being pressurized at this very moment. فَإِنَّ سَعَدَ قَدْ أَصَابَتْهُ دَمَّ." Verily there's pressure encountering Sa'ad at this very moment. The ceremony ended and people made their ways back home. When the ceremony ended, some companions rushed to the Prophet. "Ya Rasool, what on earth was all this about? You made your way to the funeral procession on hearing the death of Sa'ad. You ghuslated him. You were involved in carrying the coffin. You buried him. You said there were 70,000. What was this last statement all about?" Then the Holy Prophet said, "Naam, annahu kana fi khulghihi ma ahli su'a." His behavior with his family, his wife and children, was poor. Even you can be a great companion of the Holy Prophet with all that sincerity. The Prophet would nurse him, pray for him. We should never be complacent or arrogant. We don't know. We're all going to suffer from it. We'll never be as sad. Now, this behavior with the family had reached a level where it was ingrained inside, and the malakot was manifested, and that was the pressure of the grave. Do we have time? Yes, I'm sure, yes. Another tradition. قلت لأبي عبد الله, I said to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, إني سمعتك وأنت تقول كل شيعتنا في الجنة على ما كان منهم. Someone came to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam and said, I've heard you say that all the Shias of Amir al-Mu'mineen will be in heaven in accordance with their own degree. Some will be in high places of heaven, some lower. In heaven there are an infinite number of degrees. قال صدقتك, you're right. Well, I told you right. صدقتك, I told you the truth. كلهم والله في الجنة. By Allah, I swear, all the Shias will be in heaven. قلت, I said, the companion, جعلت فداك إن الذنوب كثيرة كبار. But may my life be sacrificed for you. Many of these Shias are doing serious sins. They're Shias, they're true Shias, doctrine-wise, okay? They believe in Amir al-Mu'mineen, they believe in the 12 Imams. Their aqa'id is Shia aqa'id, but they do bad sins. And you're saying everyone will go to heaven? فقال, Imam Sadiq said, أما في القيامة فكلكم في الجنة. In relation to Qiyamah, the promised day of resurrection, okay, all of them will be in heaven. How? بشفاعة النبي المطاع أو وصي النبي. By means of the shafa'ah of the obeyed prophet and the successors of the prophet. Now, who the successor of the prophet is during the time of occultation, it's a very sensitive debate. It's related to Belayt al-Faqih, but we don't want to speak political here now. Let's not go and change subject. Anyway, everyone will be in Jannah, in heaven, in Qiyamah, by means of the shafa'ah, intercession of the Holy Prophet and successors of the Holy Prophet. Every era has a successor. وَلَكِنِّي, however, I, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, أَتَخَوَّفُ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الْبَرْزَخِ. I fear for you in Barzakh. Because in Barzakh there's no shafa'ah. Barzakh has a hell. The day of judgment, the promised day, has hell. The punishment of hell in Barzakh and the punishment in hell in the major Qiyamah is one and the same. Don't think just because we're all going to acquire shafa'ah, we'll be free of punishment no matter what. No. In Barzakh, we will be punished. Shias of Amir al-Mu'mineen will be punished. There's no shafa'ah. But that punishment will cleanse us, and on the day of resurrection, since we had true doctrine, then we will go to heaven. But don't think there's any light, anything's reduced or lightened. We will suffer in Barzakh in the same way many will suffer in hell in Qiyamah. And the Imam say, I fear for you in Barzakh because there's no shafa'ah there. Then the companion said, Mal Barzakho, what is Barzakh? And the Imam said, Al-Qabro, the grave, the spiritual grave, Mundhahina Mautihi, since the time one passes away, from the time one passes away, Ila Yawm al-Qiyamah, until the day of resurrection, the major Qiyamah. I don't want to tire you though, yes. There are many traditions here, just on Barzakh, because from tomorrow we're slightly going to change. With your permission, I'll just miss one or two of them. There are traditions that demonstrate that the fuel for our Barzakhi resurrections is tantamount to those, the soul's malakat, those ingrained dispositions. They will fuel those resurrections. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, Innal mu'mina, verily the believer, idha kharaja min qabrih, when he exits the grave, kharaja ma'ahu mithalun min qabrih. Exiting the grave with the believer is a manifestation, an image. Then the mu'min says to this manifestation, Man anta, rahimakallah, who are you? May Allah's peace be upon you. May Allah's mercy be upon you. Tubashiruni min hina kharajtu min qabri. You've been a source of delight to me since I've exited the grave, since I've entered Barzakh. Wa anastani fi tariqi. You've made yourself familiar and acquainted yourself with me during my route in Barzakh. Wa khabbartani an Rabbi. You've made me familiar and aware of my Lord. Fayaqul, then the manifestation, the mithal, the image, the resurrected embodied action says, Ana sururu alladhi kunta tudkhiluhu ala ikhwanik fid dunya. I am that joy which arose from your granting joy, your granting help to your brother of religion in this world. When you assisted your brother in religion in this world, I am that joy resurrected. It's a good action to help your brother in faith. That was resurrected as this manifestation, which is now a source of delight for the mu'min in Barzakh. Then the manifestation, the image says, Khuliqtu min. This manifestation, this mithal, I have been created from that action. I am an embodiment of that action. لَأُبَشِّرَكَ وَأُونِسَ وَحْشَتِكَ. And I've been resurrected to give you glad tidings, to remove your fear in Barzakh. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, فَإِذَا قَبَضَهُ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى. When Allah takes our souls away on death and the soul enters Barzakh, سَيَّرَ تِلْكَ الرُّوحِ فِي قَالِبٍ كَقَالِبِهِ فِي الدُّنْيَا. What remains is a figure, قَالِبٍ كَقَالِبِ, a figure which resembles your figure in this world. That's referring to the mithali soul. My mithali soul will look like me. It's not material though, but it has size, shape, color. فَيَأْكُلُونَ وَيَشْرَبُونَ. It will eat, it will drink in Barzakh. Don't be surprised. Have you never eaten or drank in your dreams? That's the mithali soul in your dreams. The same applies here. فَإِذَا قَدِمَ عَلَيْهِمْ الْقَادِمُ. And whenever someone confronts or encounters them, عَرَفُوهُ بِتِلْكَ السُّورَةِ الَّتِي كَانَتْ فِي الدُّنْيَا. They'll recognize him by that very worldly appearance he used to have and say, oh, it's him, it's her. Okay. That ends my talk. Sorry, this one was a long talk, but I wanted to end at this particular place. Now, tomorrow, inshallah, we're going to speak on how we can benefit the dead. First of all, can we be a source of benefit to those who have passed away? Can we do things that will lead to their benefit? Can we do things that leads to their spiritual elevation? And in general, can the Mithali soul spiritually elevate itself in Barzakh? And after explaining this, there's a very delicate point in spiritual wayfaring, which I will end with and then concentrate on in 2 days' time. Thank you for being patient. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ala alihi.
اللهم صل على محمد